I drove the 2025 Ford Maverick Lobo. Here's my honest review. I spent a week with the 2025 Ford Maverick Lobo. Here's my honest review on performance, features, and whether this compact truck is worth it. What does Maverick Lobo even mean? Lobo, derived from Latin lupus, meaning wolf, also the Mexican market nameplate for the Ford F-150 since 1992 is the badging you'll find on the forward fenders and seatbacks of this Maverick. The name, Maverick Lobo, can be confusing at first when you try to make sense of whether Ford wants this compact pickup to embody the traits of cattle or canine. However, its nomenclature makes more sense after a few days behind the wheel once you've figured out that the 2025 Ford Maverick Lobo really is like a wolf in cattle's clothing, embodying both the disciplined performance of a wolf and the free-roaming, do-it-all nature of a Maverick. What I was left pondering after those first few days behind the wheel of this tarted-up Maverick, however, was what kind of person this thing really aims to appeal to, and if I'd ever seriously consider buying one for myself. When I first picked up the 2025 Ford Maverick Lobo, I arrived wearing a black t-shirt with a faded blue 03 Ford F-150 SVT Lightning printed on its back, and I could feel the giddiness inside me, unwittingly tapping my right foot against the pavement. I tempered my eager smile while taking possession of the key so as not to give my excitement away. My expectations for Ford's latest souped-up street truck were high, but I had a feeling I was going to be entertained regardless. Admittedly, I had built up a preconceived notion in my mind that, at least to some degree, the Maverick Lobo would deliver a driving experience that could successfully convince me it wouldn't be out of place in a Fast and Furious film, like the F-150 SVT Lightning that came before it. It is, after all, marketed as a carefree, fun-loving workhorse with a talented athletic side, and its mixed lineage is interwoven with a myriad of hot hatchbacks and supercharged half-ton trucks. A combination of contrasting flavors with an intriguing aroma that I was eager to try. First impressions. As I first laid my eyes on the 2025 Ford Maverick Lobo, my excitement turned to borderline drooling. With the sun shining brightly and not a cloud in sight, the Maverick Lobo's velocity blue paint job is as deep and striking as the coastal surf on Maui during golden hour. Its glossy black 19-inch wheels, which evoke the iconic styling of trendy, turbofan wheels found often on rally cars, reminded me that I still have some testosterone left in me, even in my late 20s. I will note, however, that quite a few people that I showed the truck off to, primarily women, curiously, had some not-so-nice things to say about the wheels. Thankfully, for those who dislike the boy racer-esque turbofan dinnerplate look, the Maverick Lobo can also be fitted with more traditional-styled black painted wheels. If it were me ticking off the option boxes in the local Ford showroom, however, I'd stick with the unique standard equipment. The Lobo packages visual enhancements, which include a black painted roof, a Lobo exclusive front fascia, and a painted rear bumper, pair exceptionally well with the 2025 Maverick's facelifted elements, most notably, the fresh, attractive new headlight style that makes the Maverick look at least 5 years newer than last year's model. Altogether, I felt that the Lobo's styling brilliantly mirrored the model's blend of snarky hot hatch dynamics and street truck well-roundedness. None of the Lobo's enhancements are over the top or too extreme. Lobo badging isn't needlessly tattooed across every inch of its body. Its visual enhancements, while they add a welcome sense of sportiness, are restrained and tasteful, giving this unique trim package the coveted, if you know, sort of vibe, much like that of an E46 BMW M3 or AW204 Mercedes-Benz C63 AMG, where only subtle changes hint at each car's maniacally brutish beating heart. Does the Lobo really offer that much more performance than a standard EcoBoost Maverick? The answer is no, but also, yes? Let me explain. The Maverick Lobo uses the same turbocharged 2.0-liter EcoBoost 4-cylinder engine found in many other variants of Ford's bite-sized pickup truck, which produces 250 horsepower and 277 pound-feet of torque. There is no power bump for the Maverick, a fact that had me skeptical of the Maverick's street truck credentials at first, but other behind-the-scenes enhancements alter the driving experience to a point where you'll forget that it has just 250 horsepower. Unlike the standard EcoBoost Maverick, which pairs its turbocharged inline-4 with an 8-speed automatic gearbox, the Lobo loses a gear and instead uses a 7-speed, quick-shifting gearbox, which makes far more effective use of its 250 horsepower. The Lobo also gains a sport-tuned suspension, brake and steering parts borrowed from the Focus Street, and a twin-clutch rear differential borrowed from the Maverick Tremor, which can impressively handle some seriously spirited driving, at least for a pickup truck. The Ford Maverick is pretty well established as a pickup truck by this point, having sold over 130,000 units in the United States last year alone. Despite its compact size, the Maverick is aptly capable as both a pickup truck and a family crossover, wrapped up into one affordable package. Although the Maverick Lobo can't be optioned with the 4K towing package, has a maximum towing capacity of just 2,000 pounds and a reduced maximum payload of 1,140 pounds versus the standard Maverick's 1,500 pound capacity. It sacrifices relatively little of the pickup truck's capability. It still has 4 doors and 5 seats, a 4.5 footbed, and will still accept a bed cap or roof rails. All that, and it'll put a cheeky grin on your face as you tackle a twisty back road, what with its hilariously pronounced wastegate whoosh noises, and its surprisingly adept ability to take a tight corner at high speed. My one complaint from behind the wheel, however, is its awkward braking. Step on the brake pedal too lightly, and it simply won't bite. Step on it a little bit harder, abs kicks in, and your face will narrowly avoid the steering wheel. The Maverick Lobo's interior carries on the theme of industrial chic design. The Maverick Lobo's interior feels utilitarian yet dynamic and premium, blending exposed bolts and upright seating positions with funky, colorful contrast stitching and acceptably contemporary dashboard design, and premium features that suit the pickup's reasonable $41,425 price tag before added fees and taxes. My test truck was equipped with the optional 702A equipment group, which adds a 400W converter, acoustic windshield, ambient lighting, connected navigation, heated seats, heated steering wheel, power moonroof, power sliding rear window, Pro Trailer Assist, and an 8-speaker Bang & Olufsen sound system. This additional $5,495 package makes a world of difference inside the cabin, but I appreciate the fact that it's entirely optional, allowing buyers to save money and drive a stripped-out, driver-focused compact street pickup. The real verdict, despite my entirely biased, harsh, and inflated expectations of what I hoped the Ford Maverick Lobo would be, the charming and spirited compact street truck successfully tugged on my gearhead heartstrings, and I thoroughly enjoyed every minute behind the wheel. In fact, parting with it at the end of my week-long test was difficult, as I had quickly formed an emotional connection. Even having spent just 7 days with it, the Ford Maverick Lobo could very well be Ford's flagship model, as it represents an enthusiastic balance between realistic and practical capability and hearty, emotional quirkiness and charm. It's a vehicle that shouldn't necessarily be as special as it feels. Still, in a world filled with increasingly mundane and emotionless vehicles, The Maverick Lobo is a breath of fresh air for realists who require practicality but reject the notion that practicality can also be fun. I quickly became addicted to its pronounced boost noises, its gorgeously vibrant paint job, and how silly and unserious it is for a vehicle that could otherwise be considered a bastion of realistic practicality and lifestyle-friendly capability. So, my pondering was answered after all, and the answers to my two questions became clear. The Ford Maverick Lobo appeals to anyone with an active, busy lifestyle who also has a sense of humor and could easily make new friends every time they enter, say, a bowling alley or a bar, after a few hearty pints. And, yes, I would buy one with my own money, and I was admittedly envious when I discovered it wouldn't have cost me much more than my new Subaru BRZ did, despite offering objectively more car for the money. Regardless, the Ford Maverick showcases a fine effort from Ford and proves that the American automotive giant still hasn't forgotten about its many petrolhead fans.